Hi you guys, this is Renata. I am making this video for a person who left a comment on one of my videos probably about a month and a half or 2 months ago. And they mentioned that they want to take pictures of the perpetrators who are harassing them, but they're afraid to do that. And they wanted to know if it was okay and if it was legal to take pictures of people who are committing crimes against you, basically. Now, normally when someone asks a question, I write their name down, and when I do the response video, I go back to their comments and I paste the link to my response on their comments so they can see what I had to say about it. Well, this time I have searched my computer high and low, and I cannot find where I wrote that person's name down. So I do apologize, and I pray that whoever asked that question will find this video and they'll get the answer that they were looking for. Okay, so here is my thoughts on the whole picture taking thing. I too used to be very shy about taking pictures of the people who harass me and who stalk me every day and have for years. I came to the point where I really wanted to start to gather evidence because I realized that without us having evidence, this will be impossible to prove. We can tell people every day, all day, that people are following us, people are harassing us, and we all know how that sounds. It doesn't sound like something that would really happen, but we as targeted individuals know that it really does happen. And in order for us to get people to believe us, get people to help us, which that really hasn't happened so far for most of us, but we have to have some sort of evidence, okay? And taking pictures and video is one way of gathering that evidence. Now, with that being said, the videos and the pictures need to show a pattern, need to show a pattern of abuse, need to show that whatever is happening to you is happening to you on a regular basis. Okay, especially if you have some of the same perpetrators following you, some of the same perpetrators harassing you, your pictures need to tell a story. Taking pictures and videos, I think, can be helpful in another way because sometimes it will back them away from you, especially if they know that you are the type that not only will take the pictures and video, but you're not afraid to expose them because one of the things that they hate is exposure. So, for that person who asked the question, obviously you are being targeted pretty hard with the stalking portion of all of this, to the point that you have become courageous enough, because it does take courage to take the pictures and things. So you've come to the point where you are courageous enough to begin to take pictures to expose these people, but you have that doubt in your mind, just like I did, on whether or not you'll be in trouble for doing this. I felt the same way. And so I asked two different police officers. Now, at the time that I asked them, this was a time where I was going to the police department regularly to expose what was happening to me, to try to get help. This was back when I thought the police would help. Now I know better, but so this was years ago. But I was going down there to file police reports on different things that was happening. We was always being vandalized, and it was just all kinds of stuff happening. So when I went down there, I asked one police officer, is this legal? Because they were asking me, well, can you prove it? Can you prove it? Well, no, I could never prove it because I wasn't taking pictures at the time. And so I said, well, is it okay for me to take pictures? The officer told me yes. I wrote the officer's name down. She said, yes, okay, you can take pictures. Okay, but I still was not comfortable. So another time I went down there to file a police report about something. And I asked another officer, and the officer said yes. And then I began to do my own research on the internet, and I finally got to the point where I was comfortable in taking pictures. Now, if we choose to do that, you have to make sure that you're not paranoid, that you're not just taking pictures of everybody, but that you are taking pictures of those who are deserving of their picture being taken because they are committing a crime against you, because stalking is a crime and it shouldn't be happening. Um, and in order for us to prove it, we're going to have some kind of pictures or something. Now, there are TIs who don't feel like they need to take pictures at all, and that's fine. Maybe your harassment is not to that level, or you just don't want to deal with it. But there are those of us who are just kind of sick and tired of being sick and tired, and we're to the point where we want to expose it, and I'm one of those people. So I'm not shy about it anymore because I know that I'm not a paranoid person. I know that this is really happening. And in order for me to show that I am really being harassed on a daily basis, which I am, and stalked and followed and all of that, then I need to have proof. And pictures is one of the ways of getting proof. And when these people know that you're taking pictures and video, and they know that you're not afraid to expose them, they back off a little bit. They back off a little bit. Um, and there have been times where my videoing has come in handy. I have actually posted some of the police harassment that has happened to me, so they know that I'm not afraid to expose it. There was a time where they were constantly staging these little fender benders and things like that. And one time my husband and I were at at Walgreens. We were at Walgreens, and there was a car. I was on the passenger side. There was a car parked next to us, and she was parked on my side. And she sat there and she sat there. And when I opened my door, she opened her door at the exact same time. And so our doors hit. And I knew that she did this on purpose. And she got out of her car and she was so belligerent and loud. And, I already knew that she was trying to bait me, into this argument. So I wasn't going to buy into it. And she went into this whole rage about how I hit her door and all of this. And something told me to record her. And so even though, the whole door, hitting of the doors had already happened, I still decided to record this. So I recorded it. And in the middle of her going off, I said to her, well, why did you open your door at the same time? Why did you do that on purpose? And she said, because you took too long to get out of the car. And I wanted to get out of the car, but you took too long. And so I just opened my door. I was so glad she said that because she basically told that she did it on purpose. Now, she was going off and so upset that I don't think she realized I was recording her. So we exchanged insurance information. And about a week later or so, my insurance company called me and said that the lady was filing a claim and she wanted her entire car painted, but you could barely see the ding on her car. But she said she wanted her entire car painted and all this and that. And I told the insurance company, I said, what is your email address? Because I have a video where this lady admitted that she did this on purpose because she said that I took too long to get out of the car. And she never got, long story short, the lady never got, she never got paid because the insurance company said, oh, okay, so she admitted it. Well, I'm going to let her insurance company know that. And she did, and the lady never got paid. Now, later, I'll say a couple weeks later, that same lady started popping up places. Now, I had never seen this lady before. She started popping up here and popping up there, so that confirmed to me that she was a perp. So, there are times like that, and there have been other times. If you look through my videos, there are a couple things that I have video that I put out on YouTube when I get into that exposure mode. But so there are times where, it will be to your benefit to take pictures and to video. Another thing that happens a lot to TIs, including me, is that we get a lot of police harassment. And there was a time where I was getting pulled over by the police a lot, and I had never gotten pulled over before I became targeted. So my advice there would be to make sure you have a dash cam. If you are a targeted individual who drives, make sure you have a dash cam. And if you ever get pulled over by the police, turn that dash cam towards the driver's window because they usually come on that side. Although I've had them surrounding my entire car, but so make sure you get the type of dash cam that swivels so you can turn it wherever you need to turn it, and then just let it roll. And it's filming everything. So what I'm trying to say is don't be afraid. I know, it's not in our character to do things like this, but if you know that you are not a paranoid person, you have got to have evidence. Also, if you have family members that don't believe you, loved ones, friends that don't believe you, maybe you being able to show your pictures or your video and you can show a pattern. Look at this. This is happening, and then this is another day, and this happened. And also make sure your date stamp is on. So it will show the date and the time, and that you can show a pattern of abuse. This may help you. I mean, you never know. This may help your credibility for people, your family members, your loved ones, or whoever you need to show this to believe you. Because this is the only way we're going to get this exposed, is to be able to prove it. Otherwise, they'll just continue with the crazy card. Oh, it's all in your mind. You're crazy. But when you can show it, that's a whole different level. Okay, so let me read, because this is getting long. So let me read to you the laws on photography. And this is coming from legalbeagle.com. So these are attorneys. ACLU, I will post their link. They also pretty much say the same thing that this website is saying, and there are a bunch of other websites, okay? So it says taking photos in public. If you stand in a public place, you can usually take a photo of anything you can see. That means in a public park, on a public bench, on a city street, or in an outdoor spectacle. Excuse me. It goes on to say, like a marathon, you can shoot photos to your heart's content. Take snaps of trees and sidewalks, yes, but go ahead and snap shots of people too. Be a little careful if you are using a telephoto lens. Just because your feet are on a public land doesn't mean that you can shoot into private property. Okay, so you have to be careful about private property. Honoring expectations of privacy. If a person has a reasonable expectation of privacy in a location, even if it's public, you cannot take photos there. This includes public bathrooms and sports club locker rooms. It certainly includes private homes, including backyards and pool patios. If you take shots in a place where someone has a reasonable expectation of privacy, you are violating his right to privacy, which can get you in trouble criminally and also trigger a civil lawsuit for damages. Okay, so what they're saying here is you have to be careful in public places where people expect privacy. In other words, do not go in someone's house taking pictures of them. Don't aim your camera in their house, and including their backyards, their swimming pool, their patio area. Be careful with that. If a person is at home and they expect to be in a private place, then it would be illegal for you to take a picture. Otherwise, everything else is fair game. Okay? Under the Federal Video Voyeurism Prevention Act, it is a crime to take photos of a person's naked body parts without their permission. The act makes it illegal to intentionally capture an image of a private area of an individual without their consent, and knowingly do so under circumstances in which an individual has a reasonable expectation of privacy. Now, I think we all remember about a year or so ago, there was a lady who went viral because she was at the gym working out, and she was, one of those people who was fit, and she was athletic or whatever. So she's in the locker room, and she's changing her clothes, and she sees this other lady who was a little overweight, and this lady was getting dressed. So the thinner woman, she thought it was funny that she would take a picture and post it online. So she took a picture of the lady who was a little overweight, and she put some sort of caption there. I can't believe she's at the gym, or whatever she said. And she was like making a joke out of it, and she posted it online. Well, that lady got in trouble for that, and I know that she got sued, and I believe she got arrested because the other woman expected privacy as she was getting undressed. Now, she didn't take pictures of the lady's body parts, but still, the lady was in the locker room, so you cannot do things like that, okay? So it goes on to say, under federal law, you can take photos only if the owner doesn't post restrictions. Yes, this includes restaurants, cafes, and most businesses, including businesses technically belonging to society, like a city museum, a courthouse, or a library. Look for signs or ask someone in charge. Locations like airports and train stations often have restrictions too for security reasons. So it is okay for you to take pictures in restaurants, cafes, and most businesses, city museums, courthouses, and libraries, this article is saying, as long as you do not see a sign that says that you cannot. If there's no sign that says no picture taking, then you can take a picture in those places that were mentioned there, okay? But then there are other places, this article is saying, like airports and train stations, that may have restrictions. So if you feel that you're in a place where you're not too sure, look around for some signs saying no photos. And if you still are not sure, then you might want to ask someone. We were crossing over a border a couple years ago. We were coming from another country, and we were about to go through the border, and I thought it would be nice to take a picture of us, the family, showing our passports going through this border. But something told me to ask, because those people just look serious and they look so strict and everything. So I asked. I said, is it okay to take a picture, of the family showing their passports? And the guy told me no. He said, for security reasons, you cannot take pictures in here. So I was really glad I asked, because imagine if I would have just taken that picture, like I could have been arrested. So if you are not sure, then you need to ask. Okay. And then this last paragraph talks about taking pictures of children. It says you have the legal right to photograph children in public without their or their parents' consent. But this can be regarded as suspicious activity by parents. However, the act of photography under these circumstances is not illegal. Generally, it is perfectly legal for strangers to photograph a child and post or publish the images, as long as they are not published on a child pornography site. However, check the laws in your state, as some states have passed restrictive legislation and more are considering to do this. So we know, unfortunately, people do use children in targeting, but I think that children should be off limits when it comes to this, because, especially if they're small, they're 4, they're 5, they're 6, they're just doing what their parents are telling them to do. They're innocent in all of this, but it is not illegal. Okay, it would be illegal if you're doing any kind of child pornography, of course, which no one should be doing that, or if you're going to post this on a pornography site, then yes, that would definitely be illegal. But other than that, according to these attorneys who wrote this article, and the ACLU and other places who have the same type of article, it is okay to take pictures of children without their consent or their parents' consent. It is. But I wouldn't recommend it personally, because, like I said, children, they're innocent in all of this, okay? Unless they're like, these late teenagers or 18, 19, that's a whole different thing, because a lot of them know what they're doing. But the small children, they don't understand any of this. They're just doing what their parents are telling them to do. So there it is. I hope that this was helpful. I don't think that anyone who is having a crime committed against them should be shy about taking pictures, but I know that I was at one time. There are many types of cameras. There are sunglass cameras. There are some that look like buttons. There are, as I mentioned, the dash cams. You know, there's all types. There are websites where you can find different type of equipment that may be useful to you. You can go on Amazon. That's where I get my dash cam from. You can use your cell phone if you have a camera on your cell phone, which just about all cell phones do now. There's also a flip um, function on most cell phones where you can take pictures of what is happening behind you, which I would recommend if you get to stalking, because you can see the people following you. You know, and again, make sure you show patterns. Make sure you show this same thing is happening over and over and over. Maybe it's happening around the same time of day. Maybe it's happening with the same people. Maybe all the people are wearing certain things or whatever. It's very important to show the pattern. Very, very, very important. And there's some other things, you know, but I can't disclose, all my little things, but there's just pray on it and just figure out, because there's certain angles you want to take pictures of, there's certain things that will help to prove your case. So, again, I hope that this was helpful. And I think that's all I want to say about that. I'm going to put the link to the article that I read in the comment section of this video. And also I'm going to put the ACLU's article in the comment section of this video. So please thumbs up this video. Please subscribe to my channel if you are not subscribed. And please leave your comments. What do you feel about taking pictures? I know not every targeted individual even feel like they need to take pictures. So what do you feel about it? What kind of equipment is the best equipment to capture the best pictures? You guys should watch Wisdom Cafe with Lisa J. I think that's the name of her channel, but everybody knows Lisa. Lisa's not shy. She's not shy about it, and she cracks me up because she'll zoom in on them. You'll hear her camera zzz. She zooms in on those perps, and you can clearly see that something is happening, that she is definitely being targeted because she posts the videos and she points out what they're doing. And if you watch one video and the next video of hers, you can see the pattern. And that is very, very important. She'll show you, look at all these red cars going by. Look at this happening. Look at that person, even when people say things to you. And they do all this directed conversation, all this crazy stuff they do. You can capture all of that, okay? But again, check the laws in your area, check the laws in your state. But most of these laws pertain to all of us, okay? But some, as the article says, some things may vary, especially when it comes to government buildings and children. Okay, so God bless you guys, and hopefully this was helpful, and I really hope the person who asked this question finds this video. So thanks, you guys.